Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little different. I never really do sit down videos, but I'm in my floor in my room today. Got my computer because I am going to be doing my top 15 beach reads, like summer reads recommendations. I feel like I have gotten super into reading recently, and you can probably tell, like in a lot of my videos I'll either talk about what books I'm reading, or in my last video I went to the library and showed a book haul, but I've never done a video like fully dedicated to books. So yeah, today's video is going to be all about my top favorite beach reads, summer vibes, books to read on the beach, at the pool. I don't know, it was hard to decide like how to classify these books because it's a lot of random ones. There's a mix of YA, some thrillers, a few rom-coms. I feel like summer in general is just my favorite time for reading because I have more time off from school. I'm usually either at the beach or at the pool more and can sit out and read, and there's nothing like sitting in the sun with a good book. So yeah, these are going to be my 15 favorites. I'm reading a blog post actually because I wrote this all out in blog form, so if you want to, you can check out my blog because I post a lot more about books on there. So number one is Better Than the Movies, and I love this book so much. I read it back in spring break and I'd heard a lot about it. I actually heard the recommendation from Haley. She has really good book videos too, and she had raved about it, and I wasn't sure if I would like it because I haven't read YA in so long. I feel like I've definitely transitioned into more new adult or adult genre books, and I hadn't read YA in forever, but it was so good. So it kind of reminded me of To All the Boys I've Loved Before, if you've either read that or watched the movies, where a girl and her neighbor start fake dating. They don't like each other, they argue all the time, but they start fake dating so she can get closer with this neighbor's friend, and then you know what's gonna happen. I don't think this is a spoiler, but you can probably guess they end up liking each other. But there's so many fun conversations in it. It's actually really funny. Like, I was reading it at night laughing out loud, and I love the characters. The two main characters, they're written so well. I feel like it's not super cheesy because I don't like when books are really cheesy. I feel like it was pretty realistic. And continuing on the YA train, I also really liked Summer of Broken Rules. This one is set at Martha's Vineyard, which is really fun. It's about this girl whose cousin is getting married, so she has a big family, and they all go to this lake at Martha's Vineyard for the week, and it's a big game of assassin, so everyone draws names and they're going after each other. She teams up with one of the groomsmen who's her age. I think they're both seniors in high school, juniors or seniors, and while they're working together playing the game, they end up falling in love. I also just love the setting of Martha's Vineyard and just the summer vibes throughout it, and they go into town, they're out on the lake. It's just perfect summer read. I really enjoyed that one. Next is The Night Swim. So this is a thriller. I have a lot of thrillers in here. I don't know why. I feel like thrillers are fun for summer because you can fly through them pretty quickly and just get sucked in. It's half podcast and half like real life courtroom drama because this girl has a crime podcast, and so she's trying to investigate this trial, but she's also uncovering another mystery at the same time. So it's two mysteries in one, and they like converge at the end, and you realize like they were actually tied together the whole time. That one's super good, and the author has another book coming out soon that I want to read. It's called Stay Awake, I'm pretty sure, but Megan Golden is one of my favorite thriller authors, so I'd highly recommend. When Life Gives You Lululemons, this one is really fun. I wish I could reread it because it was just a fun, lighthearted, easy read. It's about a group of 3 friends who live in Greenwich, Connecticut, and so it's like the suburbs with a lot of rich moms and drama. There's like a publicity scandal, and one of the main characters is a publicist, and so it was cool because I'm a PR major, so it's kind of fun to like see what it's really like working with a celebrity and like as a publicist. And also just the setting of the suburbs of Greenwich was really fun too. So this is an easy, fun summer read. Next is The Blue Bistro by Ellen Hilderbrand. I have a lot of Ellen Hilderbrand's books on this list because she is like the queen of beach reads. All her books are set in Nantucket, and so this one is set at a restaurant in Nantucket about a girl who moves randomly to Nantucket and finds a job as a waitress there, and then it's just about the lives, relationships, and drama between the people that work at the restaurant. But I also love the setting of Nantucket and how the author writes about her going for swims in the ocean or biking around town, all the different food they serve at the restaurants, the relationships. It's such a good book, and I flew through this in like a day, so it's definitely a quick read. One to watch, I read this last summer and it was so good. I love books that are like mixed media, I guess you could say, because the majority of it was the actual author's writing, but then there were clippets of like either tweets or Instagram captions or news articles, stuff like that, because it's about a bachelor type show and a plus size woman is chosen to be like the bachelorette for the show, and she's a plus size fashion blogger, and so she's super confident in herself and excited to go on the show, but then a lot of the men do not end up liking her and because of her size, which is like, it was a really interesting book because it was a fun read and really like easy, but also had a lot of important topics in there as well, and the ending was perfect. Like I feel like it wrapped up the story really well. Continuing on, The Last Mistress Parish. This is another thriller. It's about a woman who meets a really rich lady, Mistress Parish, and she kind of like worms her way into their life and starts like not taking over her life, but starts getting invited to her house a lot, hanging out with her kids, basically acting like she just belongs in their life even though they've barely known each other. And a lot of like secrets start coming to light. This woman is not who she says she is. She has a lot of background that like starts to become really important in the story, and I don't really know how to describe it without giving it away because I'm not the best at describing books. I need to get better at that. But basically she tries to take over this lady's life and something huge happens at the end. It's a big twist. I remember really enjoying this. I read it last summer at camp. And then this one is really similar, but Every Last Secret. It's another kind of like domestic type thriller where these two couples live next door to each other, and one of them is pretty poor, like could barely afford their house, and the other is very affluent, like very rich. And the wife of the poor couple becomes obsessed with this rich lady and basically tries to take over her life. She starts spreading rumors about her. She tries to take over her husband and like seduce her husband and basically trying to steal all her money. And then there's a twist at the end, and I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I would recommend. I think thrillers like this are so fun where it's like two rich families with drama between each other, and so that's why Last Mistress Parish and Every Last Secret I really enjoyed. They're pretty similar to each other. Another Ellen Hilderbrand book I really enjoyed is called The Rumor, and this one is more like lighthearted. There's not a super big plot, but it's basically about all these rumors that are being spread throughout Nantucket, and it's from multiple point of views from different characters. Some of them are young, some are old. I think one of them is from the police chief, and so it's about everyone hearing the different rumors about other characters and how they're like getting spread. I don't know why I love her book so much, but Ellen Hilderbrand just writes such compelling characters, and the setting of Nantucket, like she writes it so well, and it just makes me want to go so bad, and you feel like you're actually there. The X Talk. This is a fun rom-com style book. If you like podcasts, I think you would really like this book because it's about a girl who works at a radio station and she's about to get fired, but she randomly comes up with the idea to do like a couples dating podcast show for the radio station. And so she and her co-worker decide to pretend to be dating so they can give couple advice on this radio show. This whole time they're like giving advice and acting like they're dating. They've like barely even talked to each other before they started working together, but then in the end they actually do start to develop feelings for each other. And it's cute, but it also has a lot of like podcast radio talk, which I thought was really interesting because I'm really into that kind of stuff, so I would recommend. This one I've probably talked about before, but American Royals. I read this 2 years ago, and then last year the second book came out, and then this year the third book is coming out actually in like a few weeks, so I'm super excited. But it's set in modern day America, but on the premise of if America had a king instead of a president. So it follows the royal family, the Washingtons, but in 2020 whenever it was written. So it just follows like the royal family drama, their relationships, there's balls, there's traveling. It's a big mix of a lot of stuff, but then it also follows one of the sisters who's preparing to become the next queen. And I just thought it was so fun because it's technically like dystopian because it's not what our world is like now, but with a mix of the modern world. So it's kind of like you get the royal family, but you get modern day America too, which is cool. Another thriller, An Anonymous Girl. This is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, and I've read all of their books except for their most recent one, which I want to read, but I love their style of writing. They write really fun thrillers, and this one was super fast paced It's about a woman who signs up for a psychology study to make some extra money, but the researcher, like the head psychiatrist of the study, starts to become like obsessed with this woman, and she starts going back and back to the psychology study, and then the researcher kind of like takes her in, and like they actually start talking in real life. So the psychiatrist starts to like intrude on her personal life, and you realize like her intentions for the study were not what you thought, and there's a big twist at the end, and it's very fast paced too. Like every single chapter ends on a cliffhanger, so it like makes you want to know what happens next, and it was really good. My next book is also YA. It's called One of Us is Lying, and this is really popular. It also is a Peacock show now, which I kind of want to watch, but it's kind of described as the Breakfast Club meets Pretty Little Liars, where there's a variety of characters like the jock, the brains, the beauty. I think there's 4 or 5 characters, and they're all in detention one day, and their classmate ends up dying in detention, and so they're kind of all like under speculation for it. So it goes between each of their point of views throughout the book of what really happened. They're trying to figure out what happened, but then there's also some relationships that form, and the twist at the end, like who did it, I was not expecting at all. It was so good. This is the book that got me into like mystery thriller books, so if you're looking to get into that genre, start with this one. So I have 2 more. This one is another Ellen Hilderbrand book, but it's also a mystery. It's called The Perfect Couple. This was the first book I read by her, and so at the end, I think this is her only like mystery book too. It's set in Nantucket again at a wedding, and on the day of the wedding someone shows up dead, so it's basically an investigation of who did it, but also there's some drama between some different members of the wedding party, some cheating going on, someone is pregnant, there's like lots of different drama, but they're also trying to discover the murder at the same time. So it's a perfect mix of mystery and romance. And then finally, my last book is The Lion's Den. I read this last year and it was so good. It's not anything super deep. It's pretty like drama heavy, fun beach read, but it's set on a yacht. So this girl goes with a group of her friends on a yacht for this bachelorette trip, and they're traveling to all these different countries, which also is fun, just like the setting of it. But then the group of friends starts to uncover all these secrets about each other, and the main character is like kind of getting scared because the people are starting to disappear off the yacht, and weird stuff is going on, and there's like a mystery woven throughout it. So it's a fun mix of drama, travel vibes, and like a thriller with a big twist at the end. So I really enjoyed it, and the author has another book called The Siren that I read last year, and it was good too. So yeah, those are my beach reads. I feel like I rambled a little too much. I'm trying to get better at doing more like sit down book recommendation videos, because I definitely can do more. I've read so much. I've already read like 48 books this year, I'm pretty sure, just because I've really gotten into reading. So if you have any recommendations for me, definitely drop them down below. Comment your favorite beach read, any more I should add to the list. I also post every book that I read with a review on my Instagram if you want to follow it. It's Life by Addie. It's linked down below. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.